Hey there. I hope everybody is having a great holiday season. I am putting this video up to try and keep the momentum going. And I wanted to talk about sections because the last video I did before the holiday was about players in Dorico. And when I first started working with Dorico, I really wasn't that clear when should I choose a player, when should I choose a section, or actually, I guess the right terminology is a solo player or a section player. It wasn't that clear. And I wanted to talk about not only why you do that, but also how I found that it actually helps my composition. So essentially, the run of it is a solo player can play multiple instruments, like they imagine them literally picking up a new instrument and they play and they put it down. So they can switch instruments. And this might be appropriate if you are hiring musicians and you can hire somebody who plays both flute and piccolo instead of having to hire two different players, for example. A section player, though, is a different thing. A section player doesn't change instruments, can't change instruments in Dorico. This would be more like a violin section, right? And the thing is, though, you can do something very unique and useful, and that's called Divisi. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you. And I found that Divisi is not just a sort of software feature, but actually something that helps me compose better. So let's check out this demo here. I'm going to just play it for you, and then I'm going to show you how I created it. So this is technically a flute section. If you were to look in my setup, you'd see that I have this flute player here. So this piccolo and alto flute sections, these are actually from my last video. I can go ahead and I can just delete those. And I'm left with just what looks like one player, but you'll see this little two-person icon represents that it is actually a section. And there's only one instrument in there, flute. However, I have two lines, and I'll explain how this goes. Let's just listen to it because the main thing I want to take away from this is that it makes prettier music. All right, so I won't play the whole thing for you, but what happens is when you create a section, you can create divisi. Divisi is literally a division. So you can say, well, let's say you've got a flute section like this. Let's say you've got 4 flutes. There are 2 kinds of divisi. First, you can break them into sections. You say, you two play this, you two play that. Okay, that would be sections, and you'll see how you can actually break that up. The next option is to do what's a soloist. So you have everybody play this except the soloist play this. And that's what I have set up here in my demo. But I'm going to show you how to set this up. How do you instantiate Divisi? And what are some of the compositional considerations that I think help me make better music? All right, so let's just start from scratch. We're going to go to setup, and I'm going to again add flute. Just to keep things actually very clear, I'm going to delete. I'm going to start literally from scratch. I wonder if I can copy. Let me see if I'm able to copy this just to give myself a little bit of a head start in my demo. And then I'm going to delete these. Okay, so I've got no players here. Oops. I'm going to come down here to this icon with 2 little heads. I'm going to click on that. That is to create a section, and I'm going to type in flute, just like normal, like you're looking for an instrument. Hit flute, and now I have this one with the 2 little heads. That means it's a section player. And right now I only have 1 staff, which is entirely normal. So if I were to write music on this staff, then what I would, let's see if my copy and paste works. Hey, it does, cool. Okay, so right now, if I were to give this to the flute section, they would all play in unison. So even if I had 4 flute players, it'd be like, okay, well, you guys all play this whole line. But I want to create multiple lines. So I'm going to click on the part in my staff. It doesn't have to be the first measure. It could be anywhere in the staff where I want to create Divisi. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to go down to the staff submenu and I'm going to say change Divisi. That brings up this window. Now you can see everybody basically by default is playing unison. So everybody's playing just whatever's on the staff. I've got 4 flute players, but they're playing the same thing. Now I have 2 options. One is I could add a solo division, which is what I did in the earlier example. This is where I have a soloist and lialtri. Lialtri is everybody else and the soloist. So I'm going to have 2 lines and 2 lines only. But you can also do it like this. You can do sections. Now I'm going to have sections 1 and 2. If I were to do that, you'll see that there's sections 1 and 2. And whether this is soloist and this is lialtri, or this is section 1 and this is section 2, I can now write multiple parts. And I could add more sections if I wanted to. Let's go back to change Divisi. I could add 3, right? And then let's say I have 6 flautists. Then I could have 2 playing this, 2 playing that, and 2 playing this. All right, but what I like about this compositionally is that I can start to write more imaginative music. Now, let me copy that onto there. So copying this down onto these 3 staffs, we still basically have everybody playing in unison, right? But this is where I find it really helps my composition. So I will go through here and I'll say, okay, let's say we've got an A minor chord here. We're just going to basically make a melody. Okay, let's go for a D minor, like that. I'm not saying that my voice leading here is great, but I just kind of want to demonstrate that you can actually do some really cool things. There you go. D, we'll go back to, I don't want that. I'll go there, and there, like so. And then here for this G, I'll do an actual G major chord. G, B. Okay. So now I get this prettier line here. Let's just listen to it. Make sure that it's turned up adequately so you can hear it really well. Just seeing the 3 staffs here and thinking about it intellectually as this is what my flute players are going to be doing, and then writing parts for the flute that complement each other harmonically and melodically really helps to create more beautiful parts. So let's listen to that. There, we're basically just playing unison. Now, when I go to my scores, you'll see that I actually have flute score that contains these 3, and they're nicely bracketed so you can see that they are all part of the same group. So it's really a nice tool whether you are giving music to real players to play, composing music in a more realistic way, or it's just a tool for organizing. I suppose it's a nice way to, it's a little more elegant than just creating lots of flutes. Instead, have one flute section in your setup, and you've got Divisi breaking out into 3 sections, but it's a little less clumsy than just having 3 flutes. Myself, and I'm sure many composers who are doing it in the box these days, most of their experiences with computers, and we can just load up more channels, basically, more instruments. We can have 16 individual flutes. Why not? And technically speaking, in terms of, what will the music do, that doesn't really always matter. I don't think there's too much of a significant choice. Quite a few of my string libraries and orchestral libraries do this auto divisi feature, where if I play 3 notes at it, it'll split it up according to how many instruments I have in my section. I'm sure you're using similar libraries. So some of the technical problems with like having 400,000 flutes playing at the same time don't occur so much anymore, and there's other ways around it. But for my money, I really enjoy the fact that writing in Divisi like this compartmentalizes the instrument in my mind, but it still encourages me to write more flowing, more harmonically rich parts. So if you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Please hit the bell if you would like to be notified when I post new content. Again, it is the holiday season, so I am doing a diminished schedule, but I'm trying to do some regular uploads just to keep momentum going. Thank you so much for your support on my channel this last year. And I'm looking forward to all sorts of new stuff in the new year. If you have questions you'd like me to cover, features you'd like me to cover about Dorico, Cubase, general composition in film and TV, please do post a question and I promise I'll read it and I will get back to you. Okay, so thanks again and I will see you next time. All right.